What's up, YouTube? I'm gonna make this video and I'm gonna be very, very controversial. Some people are not gonna like what I have to say, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Addiction is not a disease. It's not a disease, it's a choice. A lot of people ain't gonna like to hear that because it all goes in with this whole pharmaceutical medical scheme that we got going on here, but it's not a disease. If addiction is a disease, then smoking cigarettes itself has to be called a disease. Drinking alcohol has to be called a disease. The nymphomaniac who wants to fuck every day, constantly all day, has to be called a disease. The alcoholic has to be called a disease. It's not. It's a choice. It is a choice. I choose to smoke cigarettes every day. It's a choice. I know it's going to be, if I want to quit, it's going to be one of the hardest things I've ever done in my entire life. And it's definitely going to be hard. And if you look at cigarettes, I mean, look at all the problems that it causes, just like addiction, just like alcoholism, just like the nymphomaniac or the person who eats chocolate too much. Those are all choices. Your choices can lead to a disease. Doesn't mean you have a disease now. So, let's put it in perspective. Addiction. I think we could all agree on this. Our system is broken. Our medical system is owned by the pharmaceutical companies. Doctors handed out opioids and other medications as if it was fucking Pez candy. Oh, here, you got a problem, take this, take this, take this, take this, take this, and then they just take it away. Now, these people go on the streets, they do what they have to do in order to not, whatever their original problem was. Now they have to deal with the withdrawal symptoms that they're dealing with because the doctor took the pills away. Again, it's a choice. It sucks because the doctors did encourage it, but at the end of the day, it is a choice. Now, they can continue using, they can continue, whether they're taking Suboxone, methadone, whether they're still using heroin, whatever the case may be, they're still choosing to do it. Now, when they end up with hepatitis C, or they end up with AIDS, or a biological defect, that is a disease. When you end up with a biological defect that is there whether you encouraged it or not, that is a disease. It's the same with smoking cigarettes. Here I go, smoking my cigarette on a daily basis. This is a fucking choice. It's a choice. I'm choosing to do it. Even though, again, our advertising system, when I was a kid growing up, late 80s, early 90s, cigarettes were on every fucking billboard, every goddamn commercial, encouraging you to smoke cigarettes. Now, when I end up with heart disease, or high blood pressure, or having a stroke, or things caused by cigarettes, that's a disease. But as of right now, I'm making the choice, even though this is very hard to quit. How come cigarettes, with one of the top leading things of problems in this country, why is this not considered a disease? Why is this considered a choice, but addiction is not considered a choice? Why is that considered a disease? It's not. When doctors start handing out cancer, okay, then you can call it that, but that's not the case. Alcoholism. I was there before. I was in a bad spot. I was drinking like constantly to a point where I was waking up with shakes in the morning. I was feeling fucked up. I was feeling sick to my stomach. Thank God I didn't end up with like sclerosis of the liver or any other problems you get from alcoholism. Those are diseases. As far as drinking, that was a choice. I consciously made the choice to quit. I still drink, but I don't drink anywhere near where I used to. So, alcoholism itself was not a disease. It was a choice. Look at the nymphomaniac. This guy wakes up every day and has to have sex all the time, multiple times a day. Why is that not considered a disease? Because it's not. It's a choice. It is a choice. He chooses to do that. Now, when he ends up with AIDS or hepatitis C or whatever the hell else you get, herpes, those are diseases. Those are biological defects. Things that could happen naturally. That's the disease. What we're doing, addiction, smoking, cigarettes, the person who eats chocolate, who has a problem with chocolate, who eats chocolate all day, every day, and becomes super friggin' obese and ends up with heart disease and diabetes and diseases, The root cause was from their poor choice in what they were doing and what they were putting in their body. They made the choice to do that. Yeah, maybe the commercials enabled them, if you will, the same way that the doctors friggin' handed out opioids, the same way the cigarette companies had billboards everywhere with Camel Joe on it encouraging you to smoke. We still made that conscious decision to do it. And that is going to end up as a disease. I drink coffee all the time. Who knows what issues I can get from that, but I have an addiction to coffee. I don't look at it as a disease. It's a choice that I make. It's that simple. It's a choice that I make. Now, this is where the whole tough love part comes in when it comes to addiction. And before anyone judges me or the world judges me, I want you to know I lost a lot of friends and I've lost family to addiction. It wasn't a disease. It was an addiction. It was a choice that they made and they kept on making. I actually just lost 2 of my uncles within 3 weeks last summer. 1 to opioids and 1 to alcoholism. Do I turn around and say, hey, it's a disease? No, it was a choice. It was a choice that they consciously made and kept consciously making. Well, no matter how hard it was, they made the choice. Now, this is where, honestly, this is the way I look at it. If you're going to sit here and you're going to try to cure somebody, if you're going to try to lead them in the right direction, it's better to handle it as you fucked up, you're making stupid ass decisions. Let me help you change yourself. Let me point you in the right direction. Let me point you to the right door to go through so you can walk through it, because you're the only one who's going to walk through it is yourself. And that's going to help a person to think better and want to change themselves. When someone comes up to me and says, you know what, Buck, you're fucking up in your life. You're making stupid ass decisions. I lay in bed at night and I'm like, you know what? This dude's right. I am making stupid decisions. And I blame myself. And then I turn around and I want to help myself because of that. Now, when you give them a fucking pat on the back and an excuse, that person's not going to want to change. That person's not going to want to change their life. Oh, it's a disease. It's a disease. It happens. You know what I mean? So this person's going to be laying down in bed at night like, oh, it's a disease, it happens, and continue doing what they're doing. Seriously, they're going to continue doing what they're doing. You're fucking up, change yourself, and I'll help you get there. It's going to work a hell of a lot better than, oh, it's okay, it's a disease, everybody does it. That's not going to work for our addiction problem in this country. We could all sit here and agree that the system is owned by Big Pharma. The system is completely owned by the big pharmaceutical companies. America does not want to cure you. America wants you sick. And they're going to delay your sickness because then they get to prescribe you this, prescribe you that, prescribe you this, prescribe you that, and you're living for 30 more fucking years and they're running off with all the goddamn money. They do not want to cure you. So after these people get their addiction, they turn around and say, once they go to the streets and the drug dealers are making the money off that, Big Pharma does not want that. So what do? They label it as a disease, they say it's a disease, and then here, let's get you dependent on this other drug because it's it's better for you. So here's Suboxone and here's methadone. Really? That's your solution? I'm sorry, but I mean, this is going to offend a lot of people, and a lot of people are going to not like what I have to say. But as far as I'm concerned, addiction is not a disease. Addictions are choices that lead to diseases, whether it's manipulated by the system, whether it's manipulated by doctors, whether it's manipulated by big corporations. You make the conscious decision to do that, and you make the conscious decision to keep doing that, and it's going to lead to a disease. I smoke mad cigarettes. I know it's fucked up. I know it's probably going to end up really hurting me in the future, but you know what? I wake up every day and still do it. I know it's going to be hard. I want to quit. I'm scared to quit. It's going to be hard to deal with, but I make that decision. That's not a disease. It's a choice, and it's probably going to lead to lung cancer or something like that. Then it's a disease. Stop patting people on the back and giving them an excuse, because that's not what it is. It is not. You can't give people that excuse. You can't do it. You have to tell them the truth. And you got to be tough about it. You have to try to guide them in the right direction with the truth. Guide them to the right door and help them to walk through that door by themselves with the truth. A pat on the back and an excuse is never going to work. And I'm sorry if I offended anybody here. With all of this being said, I do fully agree 100%. It is a problem. Addiction is a problem. Regardless of what you're addicted to, it is a problem. And it should be helped, and the system should be helping us. And we need to, most importantly, be helping each other, because our system really doesn't give a fuck about us. They want us addicted because they make money. So, with all that being said, I do care about the issue, and I do care about the problem. And the only way we're going to do it is by admitting that addiction is not a disease. It's a problem, and it's a choice. It's as simple as that. It's a choice. Now, we need to come together and honestly help these people. It is sad. It is an epidemic. I mean, it's sickening when I walk down the street these days, seeing people I grew up with, even people I didn't grow up with, people I don't even know, and you just could tell by looking at them how fucked up they really are, how shitty their lives may be. And I hate to be blunt about it, but really that's what it is. I mean, their entire life is, how do I get more? 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 And look at the crack epidemic in '88, you know what I mean? When it started from there. Crack wasn't considered a disease. That addiction wasn't considered a disease. That was considered an addiction and poor choices, because that's what it is. But at the end of the day, I don't know. I love you all, man. Whether you agree with me, whether you don't agree with me, I think we can all agree on the fact that the system fucks us over. Really, us as a society are going to be the only ones who change it. Try to help the people you love while you can before their poor choices become a disease. And I think I'm just going to leave with that. So, I don't know. Make this go viral, because I think people need to hear it, And to me, I've always been that person where the cold, hard truth is always going to work than a pat on the back than an excuse. So, make it go viral. See where it goes. Leave a comment. I promise I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Peace.